As one of Georgia's most desirable cities, Alpharetta continues to grow in popularity year after year. But in reality, no city is perfect. Every city has its good sides and bad sides, and frankly, its ugly sides. There are many city suburbs that surround Atlanta, but Alpharetta has certainly become one of the favorites. If you're thinking about moving to this beautiful city, there's a few things you should keep in mind. Let's talk about the pros and cons of living in Alpharetta, Georgia. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor. I'm a local real estate agent here in Georgia, and I put out weekly videos all about what it's like to live in Atlanta, Georgia, and the surrounding cities. If you're thinking about moving to Atlanta or just want to know what it's like to live here, feel free to call or text me, email me anytime. I'm more than happy to help. I'm so thankful for everyone who has reached out to me asking me about moving to Atlanta, Georgia. My favorite thing to do in the world is help people get acquainted with my hometown. With that being said, let's talk about the pros and cons of Alpharetta, Georgia. When it comes to retail, shops, and restaurants, Alpharetta really has no end of those kinds of activities. The Avalon is a great place to spend time. Tons of shops and restaurants there. The Apple store, the Peloton store. Also, they have a great coffee shop there in the middle of the Avalon called Cafe Intermezzo, definitely recommended. And then above those stores in the Avalon are condos for sale. So it's kind of a live, work, and play area that is becoming very popular among many of the suburbs around Atlanta, including Alpharetta. The Avalon is a very popular place to spend time. Lots of people from Alpharetta come to the Avalon, especially nights and weekends. You definitely want to check out the Avalon if you're ever in Alpharetta. And then while we're talking about things to do in Alpharetta, we also have downtown Alpharetta. Again, lots of shops and restaurants around that area as well. There's also like a green space, kind of green lawn area that they have there in the middle of downtown Alpharetta. People will come and picnic or, throw the football. It's a great place to spend time, especially on the weekends. Downtown Alpharetta is packed with people. It's a great place, also very much recommended. Another great benefit of living in Alpharetta, Georgia is that Alpharetta is in Fulton County, which is the same county that Atlanta is in. This means that property taxes are relatively low, pretty much similar to Atlanta. Also, this is not like the sticks, this is not the country. Alpharetta is very much a suburban feel with lots of people, lots of homes. There's still lots of community there in Alpharetta. This is not one of the suburbs that's super far out and your neighbor is a mile away. It's not really like that. The neighborhoods in Alpharetta are, have lots of homes, your neighbors are close by. That also means that if you work in Atlanta or you have something of importance in the city of Atlanta, the commute to Atlanta from Alpharetta is relatively easy. Interstate 85 runs directly from Alpharetta to the center of Atlanta, and while there can be some traffic there on the interstate, it's really a direct shot from Alpharetta to Atlanta, maybe 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how much traffic there is. Alpharetta really is one of the most desirable suburbs to live in all of Metro Atlanta. Home values in Alpharetta continue to increase. Right now, I'd say the average home value in Alpharetta is about $700, $750, with a range of $600,000 and into the millions. The desirability of Alpharetta is a huge benefit and really one of the reasons why so many people want to live there. Another huge benefit of that is that if there ever is a market correction in home values in Atlanta or across the country, really an area like Alpharetta may not see quite as much of a correction or decrease in home values, again, because of the amount of people that want to live in Alpharetta. Homes that go for sale in Alpharetta really only last like 2 or 3 days on the market because of how much buyer demand there is in Alpharetta, Georgia. The crime rate in Alpharetta is incredibly low, almost non-existent. The national average crime rate is 22.7. In Georgia, the average crime rate is 21.1. In Alpharetta, the crime rate is 7.6. There really is not a whole lot of crime there. For people who are wanting to move to Alpharetta, who ask me about the crime there, I really just tell them there almost is no crime. It's pretty rare to hear about different violent crimes or property crimes in Alpharetta, Georgia. And then Alpharetta has one of the best school districts in the entire state of Georgia. According to greatschools.org, State Bridge Crossing Elementary School is a 9 out of 10, Lake Windward Elementary School is a 9 out of 10, Webb Bridge Middle School is a 9 out of 10, Taylor Road Middle School, 9 out of 10, Chattahoochee High School, 9 out of 10, Alpharetta High School, 9 out of 10. You pretty much can't go wrong in any part of the city of Alpharetta. You're going to be in one of the best school districts in all of Georgia. Okay, now let's talk about some of the bad sides of living in Alpharetta. Now I have to tell you, there really aren't a whole lot of bad sides here. It kind of was hard to find some negative sides or some cons of living in Alpharetta, but I think I'm gonna give it my best shot here, see what we can find. Certainly one big difference between Alpharetta and many of the other suburbs of Metro Atlanta is that the lot sizes, the amount of land that the home is on in Alpharetta is relatively small to many of the other suburbs. It's very common in other suburbs of Metro Atlanta to see half an acre, 1 acre, maybe even 2 acres of land for a home. In Alpharetta, the average lot size is really about half an acre. It's not uncommon to have a quarter of an acre or a third of an acre land in Alpharetta. And this really is because Alpharetta has been recently developed in the last 20, 30 years. And so in the last 20, 30 years, homes have not been being built on larger lot sizes. This in turn has caused many of the homes in Alpharetta to have smaller lots as opposed to the larger lots in the other suburbs of Metro Atlanta. When it comes to diversity, Alpharetta doesn't really do a great job of racial diversity. Now, I live very close to Alpharetta and I've been there many times. It's not to say that the people there are terrible. You know, I wouldn't say that Alpharetta has a bunch of racism or anything like that. But keep in mind that if when moving to an area, racial diversity is high on the priority list for you, Alpharetta does not really fit the bill for that. Again, I'm not saying Alpharetta has a bunch of bad people, but diversity is not a big one for Alpharetta, Georgia. Home values are not really Alpharetta's strong suit, as you can imagine, because the amount of buyer demand in Alpharetta, the amount of home that you can get for your money is not quite as much in Alpharetta as some of the other city suburbs around Metro Atlanta. Another bad side about living in Alpharetta, Georgia is there's not really a whole lot of jobs there in Alpharetta. They do have the typical retail and restaurant jobs there, but as for high-paying jobs or industrial jobs, Alpharetta does not have that. Some of the other suburbs around Atlanta, like Marietta, also somewhat in Gwinnett County, you can find higher-paying jobs like that. But Alpharetta, for the most part, is suburban neighborhoods with a few retail locations here and there. So not a lot of jobs there in Alpharetta. You know, if you're thinking about your commute to work, if you're living in Alpharetta and you're not working there, obviously your commute is gonna be a little bit longer, which means time, maybe sitting in traffic. Certainly something to consider if you want to move to Alpharetta, Georgia. Alpharetta really is kind of a small town compared to the city of Atlanta. Atlanta is a huge international metropolitan city, and so if you're looking for a place to live that has all of the amenities that come with such a large city like Atlanta, Alpharetta is not going to have that. It's really a much smaller town, suburban kind of lifestyle. There's not a whole lot of people that live there in Alpharetta, and so for the most part, the big city lifestyle cannot be found in Alpharetta. Obviously, you would have to live in an area like Atlanta to have that kind of, those amenities and that kind of lifestyle that comes with living in a bigger metropolitan city like Atlanta. If you want to see more on the city of Alpharetta, Check out this video over here where I went on a tour of the city. See you in the next video.